My girlfriend's entire family was kidnapped by terrorists, and as a special forces operatives, we went to rescue them. During the firefight, I took a bullet while shielding my girlfriend Ho Chen. Just as I was relieved to have worn a bulletproof vest, I noticed blood seeping from the gunshot wound. Upon inspection, I discovered that the bulletproof vest Ho Chen had issued me was actually a cotton vest. Facing my pained and questioning gaze, Ho Chen spoke indifferently. "I gave your bulletproof vest to Jiang Hao. He's a rookie, not as agile as you. So, he needs 2 vests for safety." I clutched my wound and angrily demanded, "If you think one vest isn't safe enough for him, then swapping mine means you want me to die here." Ho Chen looked furious upon hearing this. "How can you be so inconsiderate of a rookie? It's just one vest. Besides, it didn't hit a vital spot. Why are you making such a fuss?" Knowing further argument was pointless, I bandaged my wound and messaged my father, the bureau chief, for help. "I've been shot and injured. Need rescue. Request mission cancellation." Soon after, Ho Chen, as the team leader, received the order from the bureau chief to abort the mission. She grabbed my collar, eyes blazing. "You snitched, didn't you? Do you know my parents and younger brother are in the terrorists' hands? Every second counts. And you actually requested mission cancellation. Are you trying to get them killed?" Her rough handling tore open my freshly bandaged wound and blood spilled onto the ground. I pressed hard on the wound at my ribs, enduring the pain as I replied, "We were ambushed midway, proving the enemy was prepared. Going in now would be walking into a trap. Besides, I've been shot. Is it wrong to call for backup?" Before Ho Chen could respond, Jiang Hao cut in with a sneer. "Rong Ting, no offense, but you're a veteran of the Special Operations Bureau. A minor injury like this and you're already asking to bail. I'd be embarrassed for you if word got out. What's more, the hostages are Captain House's family, your future in-laws and brother-in-law. How can you just abandon them? Are you the one who's afraid of death, or does Chen Chen's sister not mean enough to you?" With his provocation, the other team members also started blaming me. "Rong Ting, if you're bad at something, you just need to practice more. Running away will only make everyone look down on you. Light wounds don't take you off the front lines. That's always been our team's tradition. Asking for help over a scratch will make the other squads laugh at us." The excruciating pain was unbearable, and the teammates' mockery drove me to the brink of collapse. I released my pressing hand, pointing at the wound that kept gushing blood, and demanded, "Are you blind, or has your conscience been eaten by dogs? Is this just a superficial injury to you?" The other team members fell silent after seeing my wound, except for Jiang Hao, who still wore a mocking smirk, his face full of disdain. "Are you proud of getting shot, acting like it's some kind of honor display?" Hao Chen stepped forward, looking at me with disdain. "Why is everyone else fine, but only you got shot? Isn't it because you always slack off during training, so you're so terrible in actual combat? How dare you still have the nerve to say anything?" I wanted to defend myself, but the heart-wrenching pain left me unable to utter a single word. As I continued to lose blood, my vision grew increasingly blurry, and everything before me began to sway unsteadily. Fortunately, I sent out the distress signal in time. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Just when I thought Hao Chen would order a retreat, I heard her command everyone to keep moving forward. "Everyone, follow me. Before the terrorists are on guard, I'll take down their hideout and rescue the hostages." I struggled to get up, wincing in pain as I asked, "You want to defy military orders?" Hao Chen slightly curled her lip and coldly said, "I am the field commander of this operation, and I have the final say. I won't let a coward who fears death jeopardize the smooth progress of the rescue mission." Seeing her frenzied expression, I knew arguing further was pointless and stopped pressing the issue. "Hao Chen, I understand your urgency to save lives, but I've been shot and can't continue with you. I'll have to wait here for rescue." "No way." Before Hao Chen could give an order, Jiang Hao cut in. He glared at me with a sinister look. "If we leave him here, he'll definitely tell the director that Captain Hao deliberately disobeyed military orders. To avoid that accusation, we have to drag him down with us. If he dares to spout nonsense, we'll pin all the blame for disobeying orders on him." The other team members, intimidated by Hao Chen and Jiang Hao's authority, quickly voiced their agreement. I gazed at Hao Chen's icy expression and said emotionally, "Hao Chen, counting today, this is the 4th time I've saved you. I remember the first time was 4 years ago. I dug you out of a pile of corpses and carried you for 3 days and 3 nights before we made it out of the desert. Back then, you were so moved you cried and vowed to repay me for the rest of your life, swearing you'd never betray me. I know I mean nothing to you now, but I hope you'll give me a chance to escape considering how many times I've saved you." Hearing this, Hao Chen seemed slightly moved and was about to speak when Zhang Hao interrupted. "Chen Chen, you can't afford to be soft-hearted. Letting him stay here will ruin everything. Who knows? The whole plan to rescue your parents might fall apart because of a single word from him." At these words, Hao Chen frowned and glared coldly at me. "Stop trying to manipulate me with those old worn-out stories. That's all in the past. For this mission, you're the only one who knows the enemy's terrain well. If you don't go, how are we supposed to rescue the hostages?" "Exactly, Lu Ranting has to go. Don't even think about hiding here and playing dead." Zhang Hao quickly chimed in, seeing the disgusting expressions on their faces. I knew reasoning with them was pointless. I had no choice but to play my final card. Don't do anything reckless. Special Operations Director Chen Jiao is actually my father. If you mess with me, he won't let you off. Ha ha ha. Zhang Hao burst into wild laughter. "It's absolutely ridiculous, Lu Ranting. I never imagined you'd be so cowardly that you'd even dare to falsely claim someone as your father just to save your own skin." The others also mocked him. "How could our Director Chen possibly have a bastard like you with the surname Lu?" Hao Chen even slapped me hard across the face. "Lu Ranting, I'm truly ashamed to have a boyfriend like you. If you dare spout another nonsense word, I'll shoot you dead right now." With that, she actually pressed the gun against my forehead. I knew they were determined to take me along, so I stopped explaining. Still, I made one last request. "I can go with you, but you have to make Zhang Hao return that bulletproof vest to me. I've been shot and can't move easily." "Shut up." Before I could finish speaking, Hao Chen sharply interrupted me. "You've been shot, so naturally you're no longer combat effective. Why waste a bulletproof vest?" Let me say it again. Zhang Hao is participating in combat for the first time and lacks experience. He needs 2 vests for safety. Watching Hao Chen justify this biased argument with such righteous conviction, I couldn't help but feel a pang of bitterness. I never imagined that the girlfriend who once had eyes only for me would now disregard my life and death for another man. Ever since Zhang Hao joined the team, it's as if she's been bewitched, her eyes constantly following his every move. I used to think she was just enjoying the sight of handsome guys, indulging in some harmless eye candy, and surely wouldn't have any other thoughts. After all, we've been through life and death together multiple times. She couldn't possibly betray our years of bond over some pretty boy. Looking back now, I was terrifyingly naive. Seeing that I still hadn't moved, Hao Chen claimed the bullet into the chamber and pressed the gun against my forehead. "Don't think I won't shoot. Get up now and move." Helpless, I had no choice but to cover the wound and struggle to my feet. "Let me help you, Brother Ranting," Zhang Hao said with a concerned expression as he stepped forward. Before I could refuse, Zhang Hao smashed the wound hard with his gun, making me cry in pain. I endured the pain and pushed Zhang Hao away with all my strength. "Get lost." Zhang Hao let out an exaggerated cry and fell to the ground dramatically. Hao Chen didn't say a word and immediately stepped forward to shove me hard. "What are you doing? Zhang Hao was kind enough to help you up. Why did you push him?" Zhang Hao seized the opportunity to stir the pot. "I'm wearing Ranting's bulletproof vest, so it's normal for him to be upset. I don't mind suffering a little injustice as long as Ranting can calm down and lead us to rescue the hostages properly. It's worth it." Upon hearing this, Hao Chen's eyes blazed with anger and she stepped forward to slap me twice. "Don't think you can bully Xiao Hao just because he's kind-hearted. I won't allow it. If you dare hurt him, I'll make you pay double." Those 2 slaps were delivered with all her strength, leaving my ears ringing and my face burning with pain. But what hurt even more was my heart. I had no strength to explain, nor did I want to. "I can walk by myself. I don't need his help." "It's not that you don't need my help, but that you're trying to take the chance to slip away." Zhang Hao glared at me with a sinister look, speaking sarcastically. Hao Chen gave me a disgusted glance. "Lu Ranting, you've been causing trouble repeatedly. If you delay my rescue efforts, I won't let you off." Then, she turned to Zhang Hao. "Keep an eye on him. If he makes any more suspicious moves, execute him on the spot. After all, we're in a war zone now. Any accident can be explained away." I knew she was deliberately saying this for me to hear, and I also knew she was fully capable of doing it. These team members were all trained by her. Even if she were to do something terrible to me, they would undoubtedly side with her. A wise man knows better than to fight when the odds are against him. I can only hope the rescue team arrives sooner. After helping me up, Zhang Hao pulled me forward, running frantically without caring that my wound was bleeding more and more. After a burst of intense running, my breathing became increasingly difficult. My vision went black, as if my heart would stop beating any second. Just then, several dark figures suddenly flashed through the alley ahead. Hao Chen whispered, "Watch your cover. There's a suspicious figure ahead." Before she could finish speaking, Zhang Hao suddenly shoved me forward, throwing me directly at the junction of two alleys. At the same moment, the clicking sound of a machine gun reloading echoed from not far away in the alley. I knew that if I hesitated for even a second, I'd be riddled with bullets. With the last of my strength, I lunged and ducked into the corner of the wall. I never expected that the wall would collapse with a loud crash when I slammed into it. As the wall fell, the rapid rat-tat-tat of machine gun fire erupted near my ears. Luckily, I dodged quickly, or I would have been dead for sure. Taking advantage of the ongoing firefight, I crawled over the collapsed wall and hid in a small dark room. I sent out a distress signal again using the locator, hoping the rescue team would find me soon. After a burst of gunfire outside, it quickly stopped, suggesting it was a small group that retreated after engaging in combat. I hid in the small dark room, not daring to breathe. My enemies were not only the terrorists but also those teammates who wanted me dead. I stared at the door, missing a corner, both eagerly anticipating the arrival of my rescuer and fearing that whoever entered might be here to harm me. Just as my heart was tangled in turmoil, the door creaked open. A tall, slender figure stepped in wearing an eerie smile. When I fully saw his face, my heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Damn, it's that bastard Zhang Hao. I tried to curl up as small as possible, silently praying that he wouldn't see me. "Don't hide, Lu Rongting. I've seen you." I looked up and was stunned to find that this bastard had already reached me. I mustered all my strength and shouted, "What are you doing here?" Zhang Hao smirked darkly. "Of course, I'm here to save you, my dear teammate. Get lost. I'd be grateful if you didn't harm me. Don't be so proud, buddy. I found a bottle of iodine to disinfect your wound." With that, he reached out to pull off my bandage. I struggled to push him away but weakened from excessive blood loss, my arms were powerless and I couldn't stop him. After tearing off the gauze, he actually stuck his fingers directly into my wound and ripped it open, causing blood to gush out. Ah! The excruciating pain forced a scream from me and I immediately kicked Zhang Hao away, sending him crashing into the wall. That kick used up all the remaining strength I had left. Zhang Hao wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, dusted off his pants and gave a sinister smile. "I just performed a minor surgery on you. Don't worry, you'll recover soon. I have no grudge against you. Why must you harm me?" "No grudge you?" Just then, Ho Chen barged in with a group of people. Seeing others arrive, Zhang Hao immediately fell backward, clutching his chest and wailing. "Rongting, I was just trying to help bandage your wound. Why did you kick me?" Hearing that I had kicked Zhang Hao, Ho Chen rushed forward to kick me, but was pulled back by Zhang Hao. He was probably afraid that Ho Chen would see my torn wound. "Forget it. Sister Chan Chan, don't blame Brother Rongting for being angry with me. If I hadn't worn his bulletproof vest, he wouldn't have been injured. It's normal for him to hate me. Zhang Hao, you're just too kind. But kindness should be reserved for the right people. Someone like Lu Rongting. No matter how well you treat him, he'll never appreciate it. Today, I must teach this ungrateful wretch a lesson on your behalf." With that, she shook off Zhang Hao and charged at me furiously. Just as she raised her foot to kick me, her expression suddenly changed and she froze in place. How are you hurt this badly?" "It was just a gunshot to the ribs, but even your intestines are exposed." With my last ounce of strength, I pointed at Zhang Hao. "He did this. He means I was the one who bandaged him earlier." Before I could finish, Zhang Hao cut me off. Zhang Hao put on a righteous expression and said, "When I saw Brother Rongting, he was already like this. Perhaps he caught on something while fleeing, tearing the wound open." At this point, he glanced around and slowly added, "Now it seems Brother Rongting's injury is beyond saving. It's time for us to make a decision." Ho Chen asked with a worried look, "What do you mean?" "Exactly. In his current state, we definitely can't take him with us. If he falls into the hands of the terrorists, he will surely reveal our whereabouts. It's better to end his suffering now. Not only to let him pass peacefully, but also to eliminate the risk of our location being exposed." Zhang Hao spoke with an air of righteousness, as if his actions were entirely for my sake. Upon hearing that they were about to act against me, everyone hesitated. Seeing their hesitation, Zhang Hao continued. If none of you feel that Lu Rongting's betrayal will get us all killed here, then pretend I never said anything. Hearing this, Hao Chen finally spoke up. Let's do as Zhang Hao suggests. This is also a way to help Rongting ease his suffering. Once the team leader had voiced her stance, the others had no choice but to agree. Zhang Hao ordered someone to bring a bowl of water and took out a few tissues. We each took a tissue, soaked it in water, and pressed it over his face. Within minutes, he would be dead. That way, everyone would be involved, and no one would dare to report us. Hearing this, the crowd lowered their guard and began soaking tissues in water, covering my mouth and nose. After a few tissues were placed, my breathing became increasingly difficult. Just as I thought I was about to die, a group of people suddenly burst through the door. The leader shouted loudly, "Stop!" Seeing the intruders, the crowd was instantly stunned. Subai rushed over and kicked Zhang Hao and the others who were covering my mouth and nose to the ground. She threw the paper off my face and shouted angrily, "Not only have you disobeyed military orders, but you've also harmed a teammate. You'll face a court-martial for this." Seeing that it was Instructor Su, Hao Chen and Zhang Hao immediately turned pale with fear. "Instructor Su, it's not what you think. We were actually..." Hao Chen tried to explain, but was sharply cut off by Instructor Su. "If anything happens to Rongting, I'll execute every last one of you scum on the spot." With that, she crouched down and gently touched my cheek. "Rongting, are you okay?" After the paper was removed, I gasped for breath a few times and finally managed to recover. Somewhat with great effort, I whispered into Subai's ear, "I'm okay, but my stomach is injured. It hurts so much." Subai glanced at my wound and immediately ordered the accompanying doctor to treat me. After arranging for the doctor, she cast a cold glance at the crowd and said, "I now order you to retreat immediately or face military discipline. As for your crimes of defying orders and harming your comrades, you will be held accountable one by one after returning to the unit." Instructor Su, but my family is still. Before Hao Chen could finish speaking, Subai slapped her hard. "You idiot, how could you put the entire team at risk for your own selfish gain? Do you even know that the so-called hostage rescue location was already a death trap set up by the terrorists? Just waiting for you to walk right into it?" Luckily, Rongting gave a timely warning, and after sending an insider to investigate, we discovered this rescue mission was entirely a trap meticulously set by the enemy for us. If he hadn't stopped your operation in time, every single one of you would have been riddled with bullets by now. The other team members gasped in shock, patting their chests and exclaiming how close they'd come to disaster. Zhang Hao still seemed unwilling to give up. "Instructor Su, Captain Hao's family is still in the hands of the terrorists. We can't just stand by." And before Zhang Hao could finish, Subai clacked a bullet into the chamber and aimed at his forehead. "Say another word and I'll shoot you dead. The same goes for everyone else. Anyone who disobeys will be executed on the spot. Also, there's no more Captain Hao from now on. She's been dismissed." The others, seeing the situation, didn't dare to make a sound. After surveying the crowd, Subai ordered, "Retreat." When I woke up again, I was in a hospital bed. Opening my eyes, I saw Subai using a towel to wipe my forehead. Seeing me awake, her face lit up with joy. "Rongting, you're finally awake. You really scared me. I told you not to go, but you insisted. You're becoming more and more disobedient. You were much more well-behaved when you were little." "Thank you, Bai Jia." Hearing my thanks, Subai frowned and pretended to look very angry. "Why are you being so polite to me? Am I a stranger? Before you turned 10, I used to bathe you. If you want to thank me, you'd never finish. Subai is the daughter of my dad's comrade in arms. 4 years older than me. To save my father, her father sacrificed himself on the front line. Before she died, her father entrusted her to my father to raise. We grew up together because my parents' relationship had always been bad, and they separated very early on. My father was also busy with work every day and had no time to take care of me. So, the responsibility of looking after me fell to Subai. When I was 15, my parents divorced, and I went abroad with my mother, also changing to her surname. At the age of 21, I returned to my home country and joined the Special Operations team where my father served. Reuniting with Sister Bai, who became my instructor. My father intended to set me up with Subai, and I knew she had feelings for me, but I was already with Hao Chen at the time, so I kept playing dumb. Looking back now, I really couldn't tell good from bad at this thought. A wave of guilt washed over me, and I gently held Subai's hand. Subai, you're right. I've indeed wronged you too much. Don't stop me. Let me in. Before I could finish, the argument outside interrupted me. As the victim and a key witness in this incident, the organization has assigned security personnel to protect me, and visits from outsiders are generally not allowed. Upon hearing the commotion outside, Subai went up to check. Standing by the door, Subai recognized the visitors and frowned with displeasure. Why aren't you properly undergoing the organization's investigation? What are you doing here? Get out. You're not welcome here. Instructor Su, please let us see Rongting. We just want to apologize to him and we'll leave right away. From the voices, it seemed Hao Chen and Zhang Hao had arrived. Rongting doesn't want to see you leave now. Subai sternly issued the order to leave. I thought about it and decided to let them in. Some things need to be settled once and for all. By Jia, let them in. I also have something to say to them. Upon hearing my permission, Subai looked worried but still respected my decision and let them in. Finally, she stood by the door and said to me, I'll be right outside. Call me if you need anything. She only left after seeing me nod in agreement. As soon as Hao Chen, Zhang Hao, and the others entered, they all knelt by my bedside in unison. Hao Chen spoke first. Rongting, we're now under organizational review and soon they'll come to question you. For the sake of our years of affection, could you put in a good word for me? I know I did many things that wronged you that day. But it was truly an emergency and my mind was bound to be confused. Please forgive me, all right? I watched her coldly, waiting to see how else she might justify herself. Zhang Hao crawled to my side on his knees like a lapdog, wearing a fawning smile. Brother Rongting, I really offended you that day and I'm sorry. Actually, I meant no harm. I just wanted to complete the rescue mission smoothly. I admit my methods were a bit extreme, but it was all for the team's safety. So, please be the bigger person and forgive me. Bang! I didn't want to hear another word from him. Grabbing the 4 bottle by the hospital bed, I smashed it over his head, splitting his skull open and sending blood gushing. The suddenness of it all left everyone stunned. By the time they realized Jiang Hao's head had turned into a bloody mess, they were frozen in shock, realizing what had happened. Hao Chen rushed forward with a pained expression and hugged Jiang Hao, glaring at me resentfully. Lu Rongting, he already apologized to you. What gives you the right to hit him? Look, his scalp is even bleeding. How can you be so cruel? I sneered coldly. My ribs were punched through. My stomach was torn open, and I didn't see you this concerned. How dare you still talk about our years of feelings? Since all your affection is now on Jiang Hao, please don't use something as hypocritical as years of feelings to guilt-trip me. Rongting, listen to me. It's not like that. The truth is, the one I truly love is you. I just felt sorry for Jiang Hao, so I spoke up for him. Rongting, please don't misunderstand. Ugh. I picked up the tea from the bedside and poured it directly onto Hao Chen's face. Shut up. From now on, who you love or hate has nothing to do with me. There's no affection left between us anyway. As soon as I finished speaking, the other team members actually started backing me up. Well said. We've long been fed up with that despicable couple. Rongting, what happened last time we were forced by that wretched pair? We truly didn't mean to harm you. Rongting, I really didn't know you were the director's son. Otherwise, I would never have done such a vile thing. Rongting, back then, Hao Chen was still the team leader, and she was entangled with Jiang Hao. When both of them turned against you, we simply didn't dare to oppose them. So, if you want to blame anyone, blame those 2 scumbags. Seeing her former subordinates betray her on the spot, Hao Chen flew into a rage and began berating the team members furiously. You, ungrateful wretches, how dare you shift all the blame onto me and Xiao Hao? Do you have a death wish? Slap. Before she could finish, one of her former teammates struck her hard across the face. The other team members also started to join in, ganging up on Hao Chen with a flurry of blows. You think you're still the captain? How dare you boss us around like that? I'll beat you to death. Damn it, I've had enough of you. If it weren't for Rongting stopping us in time, we'd all be dead. And you still have the nerve to talk nonsense in front of us? If it weren't for you insisting on swapping Rongting's bulletproof vest for your damn lover, things wouldn't have turned out like this. You're the one to blame. Even though Hao Chen was known as the team's fastest kicker, she couldn't withstand the assault from 7 or 8 members. After a few rounds, she was beaten to the ground, blood streaming from her nose and mouth. Zhang Hao, seeing Hao Chen being ganged up on, quietly hid to the side, afraid of getting involved. But the team members didn't let him off either. After dealing with Hao Chen, they turned on Zhang Hao with a barrage of punches and kicks, beating him until he cried out for mercy. I watched all this coldly from my sickbed, feeling an unusual sense of satisfaction inside. Seeing that they had beaten him enough, I coldly stopped them. Alright, don't waste your time here. No matter how you act, I'll report the truth to the organization. The mistakes you've made will be duly punished. The few of them tried to argue with me further, but they were driven away by Su Bai, who rushed in. Su Bai slowly sat by my bedside, her face showing delight. I was worried you might soften because of Hao Chen's tears, but now I see my concern was unnecessary. Our Rongting has really grown up. I smiled faintly. By Jia, in your eyes, am I really that foolish to forget how Hao Chen nearly killed me just because of a few tears? Su Bai gave a faint smile and glanced at me meaningfully. In that regard, you really are quite slow. I understood what she meant, but I couldn't respond directly for now, so I pretended not to get it. A week later, I was discharged from the hospital to celebrate my smooth recovery. My dad specially held a family banquet and also took the opportunity to openly acknowledge our father-son relationship, since it was a celebration of my narrow escape from death. It was inevitable that someone would bring up the disciplinary actions against Ho Chen and Zhang Hao. According to an insider as the main culprits, Ho Chen and Zhang Hao not only received major political demerits, but also had to serve 6 months in prison, after which they would be directly expelled. The other team members being accomplices were not sentenced to prison, but were all expelled and banned from re-employment permanently. Hearing this news, I felt somewhat relieved. Although their punishment was lighter than I had expected, after all, they had contributed greatly to the organization. So, it was understandable that they received a lenient sentence. After the banquet, my father called me and Su Bai over, his face serious. Rongting, there's something I've wanted to tell you for a long time, but never found the right moment. Now that you and Xiao Bai are both here, I'll speak openly. Actually, you and Xiao Bai have a marriage arrangement. It was agreed upon years ago between me and Su Bai's father. Hearing this, my heart skipped a beat. Looking at Su Bai again, although she looked shy, there wasn't a trace of surprise on her face. It seemed she already knew about this matter. My dad continued, originally, I planned to tell you when you turned 18, but then your mother took you to Australia. I waited so long for you to come back, only for you to get involved with that Ho Chen girl. I told you several times, but you wouldn't listen. Now it's finally time to bring it up. I've said all I needed to say. The two of you should give your responses. Just as I was about to speak, my dad interrupted me. I know you young people don't like our old-fashioned ways, but this has been mine and old Sue's wish for many years. You should at least consider my feelings and old Sue's down there, too. I was about to say I agreed, but Su Bai beat me to it. Uncle Chan, I have no objections. After saying that, she looked at me with shy eyes. My dad also stared at me fiercely with his eyes. Boy, you're not jealous that Su Bai is older than you, are you? You idiot, a woman 4 years older brings longevity and blessings. Don't you understand that? I'm willing, very willing. I've wanted to say it for a long time, but you kept interrupting me. Hearing my words, Su Bai shyly lowered her head and dared not look at me anymore. My dad even slapped me hard. You little rascal, why didn't you say so earlier? You nearly drove me crazy. With that, he hurried into the inner room, probably to go and tell his late brother, who had passed away years ago, the good news. I stood up and sat beside Su Bai, pulling her into my arms. She instinctively wrapped her arms around my waist and began to sob quietly. I asked her, Sister Bai, why are you crying? Are you unwilling? She quickly explained, I'm not crying because I'm sad, but because I'm happy. I knew since I was very young that I would become your wife. So, back then I treated you both as my younger brother and my future husband. Finally, when you grew up, I found out you were with Ho Chen. At that moment, I was heartbroken. Yet, I didn't dare to tell you. I thought you disliked me because I was older than you, so you didn't want me. Today, I finally heard you say with your own mouth that you're willing to marry me. I'm truly happy inside. Hearing this, I was deeply moved and was about to kiss Su Bai's beautiful red lips when I heard two muffled sounds behind me. I turned around and saw that it was my dad coming out from the inner room. With a joyful expression, he announced, I just discussed with old Su. You two will hold your wedding on the 8th day of next month so that old Sue and I can see our next generation sooner. Subai and I exchanged a smile, fully understanding my dad's strange behavior. In the following days, our whole family was busy preparing for the wedding. Just as our whole family was immersed in the joy of preparing for the wedding, an unpleasant incident occurred. My father was suspended for investigation, and even my sister Subai and I became targets of the investigation, forcing us to put our wedding preparations on hold. After being questioned, we found out that it was because Hao Chen and Zhang Hao, who had been punished, were dissatisfied, and even the group of players who had been expelled jointly wrote a complaint letter to higher authorities. In the complaint letter, they claimed that my father had abused his power, acted corruptly, and used his authority to persecute team members, all in order to eliminate competitors for his own son. They also said my father's poor command led to the deaths of the team members' families at the hands of terrorists. After receiving the report letter, the higher UPS began investigating us with a rigorous attitude. During the investigation, Zhang Hao and Hao Chen deliberately sent provocative messages. Don't think your father being the head of the Special Service Bureau means you can do whatever you want. Piss me off, and I'll make sure he ends up behind bars, too. You got Zhang Hao and me jailed for 6 months. I can make sure your whole family rots in prison. Reading their threats, I couldn't help but laugh. The organization isn't stupid. How could it be fooled by her clumsy frame-up? Sure enough, within 3 days, the investigation results came out. It turned out that the so-called persecution of team members and suppression of dissent were actually legitimate disciplinary actions against violators. And the accusation of poor command they mentioned is nothing but a complete fabrication. At that time, fortunately, my father intervened in time to stop Ho Chen's reckless behavior, thus saving the lives of the entire team. The so-called family members of the team members were actually traitors who had close ties with the terrorists. They were taken back to the camp by the terrorists due to a conflict over unequal distribution of the terrorist spoils. The terrorists, in their attempt to retaliate against us, deliberately used the traitor Ho Chen's family as bait, hoping to lure us into sending a rescue team so they could wipe us out in one fell swoop. In reality, before the terrorists even spread the word, Ho Chen's entire family had already been slaughtered by them. The so-called rescue operation was nothing but a blatant trap. During the investigation, authorities also inadvertently discovered that the terrorists had planted a mole within our ranks. The details are still under secret investigation. After this investigation cleared things up, not only was my father not punished, but he was also promoted 1 rank for his outstanding performance. With the suspicion lifted, the preparations for Subai's and my wedding continued. One day, while Subai and I were taking wedding photos, we suddenly received a call from our superiors, saying the mole had been identified and ordering Subai to lead a team to make the arrest. We immediately stopped the photo shoot and rushed back to the bureau. It wasn't until I arrived at the bureau that I learned the mole was actually Zhang Hao. Since Zhang Hao had already completed his sentence and been released 3 days prior, there was a risk he might flee. So, the operation had to be swift. According to intelligence, Zhang Hao is currently renting a house in a suburban residential area. To avoid alerting him, we all disguised ourselves as local residents and quietly infiltrated the building where Zhang Hao was staying. Before taking action, we had already contacted the landlord in advance, asking him to trick Zhang Hao into opening the door under the pretext of collecting rent. Soon, we arrived at the door of the room Zhang Hao rented. The landlord knocked for a long time, but got no response. So, he had no choice but to open the door to check. Upon looking inside, he found no one there, yet food was being stir-fried on the stove. That guy must have noticed us and escaped by climbing down the pipes. Just then, gunshots rang out downstairs. Probably our teammates spotting him and exchanging fire during the pursuit. We immediately rushed downstairs. After asking around, we learned that the guy had indeed climbed down the building's pipes. Because his intelligence value is very high, the team members downstairs chose not to kill him on the spot, but to capture him alive. Based on the bullets he just fired, it's inferred that he is holding a Colt 1911 pistol, which has a total of 7 rounds. In the recent exchange of fire, he has already shot 5. Therefore, he is about to run out of bullets, which is very favorable for us to capture him alive. Now, he has been cornered by us in a narrow alley, which is a dead end. So, he can't escape. Our negotiator is currently working on persuading him to surrender. Hoping he will give up voluntarily while gathering information, we rushed toward the alley where Zhang Hao was surrounded. Just as we were about to arrive, we suddenly heard a sharp cry. "Why are you arresting him? This is clearly a personal vendetta disguised as official duty. I'm going to report you. As we got closer, we saw it was Hao Chun. She must have heard about the plan to arrest Zhang Hao and came to rescue him. She suddenly broke free from her teammates' attempts to stop her and resolutely rushed into the alley. Soon, a gunshot echoed from within the alley, followed by Hao Chen's agonized scream. Just as we were preparing to rush in to rescue her, Zhang Hao emerged, holding Hao Chen at gunpoint. Hao Chen was shot in the thigh, blood gushing out, and was dragged out of the alley by Zhang Hao, who was pulling her by the hair like a dead dog. Zhang Hao pointed his gun at Hao Chen's head and shouted at us, "Hurry up and get me a car, or I'll blow this woman's head off." To ensure the safety of the hostage, our negotiators immediately agreed and the action team began positioning snipers. Ho Qian, under the gun, looked utterly miserable, crying out loudly, "Zhang Hao, you beast, how could you do this to me? For you, I betrayed my boyfriend who loved me dearly to save you. I risked my life rushing into the encirclement to rescue you. Now, you're pointing a gun at me. Can you still call yourself a human being?" Zhang Hao gave a cold, mocking laugh. "Bitch, you didn't actually believe I fell deeply in love with you, did you? If it weren't for revenge against the man who killed my father, I'd find you cold-blooded and disgusting just by looking at you. 4 years ago, you and that bastard Lu Ronting shot my father dead in broad daylight. I came back this time to take your lives. I endured the disgust to get close to you. Pretending to love you deeply, then used the opportunity to turn your family against you, making them into machines providing us with intelligence. Once they had no more use, I took them hostage, luring you to come rescue them, then wiped you all out in one fell swoop. You fools never knew that long before your operation, your parents and younger brother had already been tortured to death by us. You never expected that I used your stupidity and weakness to successfully drive a wedge between you and Lu Ronting, then exploited your trust to turn your family. Without your help, I couldn't have pulled off this perfect revenge. Ha ha ha. Bang. Just as Zhang Hao was reveling in his arrogance, a bullet fired from a 300-meter-high building struck him square in the forehead, hitting its mark perfectly. Zhang Hao suddenly collapsed to the ground while Ho Qian knelt there with a blank expression, unresponsive for a long time before breaking down into uncontrollable sobs. She lay on the floor, wailing heart-wrenchingly. But no one paid her any attention because we had more important matters to attend to. Through searching Zhang Hao's residence, I uncovered the terrorists' hidden lair and swiftly eliminated them all. In the operation to eliminate the terrorists, both Su Bai and I made significant contributions, and our military ranks were promoted by 1 level at the same time. The long-awaited wedding can finally take place. We both disliked too much noise and didn't inform many people, but on the wedding day, the hotel was still packed to capacity. My relatives and friends were just too enthusiastic. There I could do nothing. Just as I was exchanging rings with Su Bai, a scream suddenly rang out from the crowd. "Rong Ting, you can't marry her. You promised to take care of me for the rest of my life. Now I have nothing left, only you. If you don't want me either, how can I go on living?" As Hao Chen spoke, Su Bai was lost in bliss, accepting my wedding ring. Disturbed by this outburst, she flew into a rage. She stood up and kicked Hao Chen away with a swift leg. "How dare you come to my wedding and steal my man? You must be tired of living." I quickly stepped forward to support Su Bai, who had lost her balance from the forceful kick, and gently advised her. "This is our wedding. Take it easy. Don't lose your composure." Then with a cold expression, I looked at Hao Chen lying on the ground and said coldly, "If you can't live, then die. Just make sure to die far away." Unexpectedly, those words turned out to be a prophecy. Hao Chen actually jumped to her death on the very day we got married, but I didn't feel the slightest guilt because I really didn't have the time. I was too busy being affectionate with my wife. After hearing the story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your views in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.